Here is a guide to every store item in Forsaken Frontiers. There are currently 7 store items in the game, and purchasing them significantly increases your chances of surviving your expeditions. So let's talk about how each one can help you on your mission to pay off your debt. The first 2 items in the store are the lantern and the flashlight, which are 2 options you have for lighting your way through the dark. Both cost $150 each, and they each have their separate pros and cons. The lantern gives off a warm light in a radius around you and can passively light your way even when it's not actively in your hand. The lantern also slows down frostbite at the tunnel's location, has no limit to its use, and flickering the lantern on and off is considered a silent action. The flashlight, on the other hand, shines a stronger light directly in front of you and helps you see farther than the lantern does. And I found this particularly useful on the metro for clearing long and dark dead ends, and also spotting holes way before I have the chance to fall into them. The flashlight does have a battery life, as indicated by the fading light, but you can always wind it back up to full. Just be careful when doing so, since winding the flashlight attracts nearby enemies. The next store item is the bolt cutters, which are priced at $200 and are my second favorite item in the game. Bolt cutters let you open locked doors instantly and without making a sound, which is especially valuable on the hospital map, where the most loot-dense rooms are locked behind a security door. Without bolt cutters, you're forced to kick down locked doors, and doing that not only alerts nearby enemies, but also takes away a resource for door slamming. The bolt cutters do have a limited and variable durability though, so use your bolt cutters wisely. Next is the pager, which is priced at $75 and is one of my least used items in the game. The pager is intended to help you find an elevator out in the field, at the risk of alerting nearby enemies when it goes off. The pager beeps when you are on the same elevation as an elevator, and the beeps get more frequent as you get closer to one. But the maps are so large that being on the same elevation as an elevator is not the most significant info, and being close to an elevator doesn't guarantee that you'll be able to access it. So I can't recommend the pager as it is now, except maybe for the tunnels, since there's only one elevation on the map, and you'll get the most accurate pager readings as a result. Speaking of the tunnels, the next item is the walkie-talkie, which is priced at $35 and is specifically useful for the tunnels. The walkie-talkie allows you to talk with everyone else who has one, no matter where they are on the map, and it's the only other way to check on your team's status other than returning to the train to check the board or seeing them go down to an enemy through their aura. Whether or not you use these is up to your team, but the reason it's useful on the tunnels is because you can have someone stay back to turn the map's power on and off as needed by your team, which is much harder to coordinate without some sort of system in place. The next item is the medkit, which is one of the easiest purchases to recommend even at its $120 price point. You can use a medkit to heal you or your teammate from the hurt state back to healthy, which is useful for a few reasons. First, being healthy means that you can't go down to the Butcher or the Forsaken in one hit. Second, being hurt hinders your movement speed and your visibility, so it will not only be harder to outrun your enemies, but you'll also be outsped by the Ventress while you're hurt. And lastly, being healthy gives you the option to go down rather than straight up dying when an enemy attacks you. Normally, if you go down a second time, you will die. But if you use a medkit to heal yourself back up before you do, then you'll just go down like you did the first time. And you can keep going down instead of dying, so long as you keep healing yourself back up to full. The only time that is not true is if you are the last remaining team member or if you are a solo player. In these cases, the day ends like usual, unless you are carrying the last store item, which is the adrenaline. Adrenaline is the most expensive item, priced at $275, and for good reason. Adrenaline lets you pick yourself back up when you're down, but the real reason why that's so strong is because if the last person alive has an adrenaline in their inventory, then the day will continue even if they get downed, and allow the player to use their adrenaline to save the run. This also works in solo play, so adrenaline is exceptionally valuable for solo players. Adrenaline can also be used aggressively, because if you use the adrenaline while you're still up, you will gain infinite stamina for a limited time. So now that we've gone over all the store items, I want to share some of my favorite loadouts. You can carry up to 4 store items at a time, so it's important to choose them wisely. For solo play, my ideal loadout is a bolt cutter, 2 adrenaline shots, and a medkit, which will cost $870 without sales. stealth is of the utmost importance in solo play, so bolt cutters can help me get past locked doors that would hinder my progress otherwise. And since solo players have a lot less room for error, the double adrenaline and medkit combo gives me the opportunity to go down twice before my run ends. And while that loadout is fantastic for multiplayer too, it also gets kind of expensive. So one of my more realistic multiplayer loadouts is a lantern, a walkie-talkie, a medkit, and either a bolt cutter or an adrenaline shot, which would run for $505 or $580 respectively. My group likes to go to the tunnels when we play, so getting a lantern and a walkie-talkie helps with this a lot. I think the more important of the items though is the medkit. I'd say it's more important than the adrenaline shot because in multiplayer you can pick people up without an adrenaline, so you'll only really need an adrenaline shot if you want to play a bit aggressively or if you want to go off on your own. So that's what the adrenaline is for on my last slot. Otherwise, I'll just take bolt cutters, so that way my friends and I can have a smoother time out on our expeditions. But that's all I have for the store items in Forsaken Frontiers for now. I think the store item prices will get adjusted at some point because the loadouts are pretty expensive for how difficult the game is. But the game itself is also getting tuned for more casual play as we speak. So I think changes to the store item prices will be dependent on what the game looks like when it's made easier. So stay tuned for updates on the game. Join the Made in Fairyland Discord if you want to keep up with those in real time. Otherwise, let me know if there's anything I missed about store items in Forsaken Frontiers and what your favorite loadout is in the comments below. I intend to make as many Forsaken Frontiers guides as possible to help ease people into this game, and I've already made a few beginner guides that I'll leave in the video description here. So let me know if this or any of my other guides have been helpful. Subscribe to the channel for more Forsaken Frontiers content, join the Discord or catch a Twitch stream where you can talk to me about the game more directly, and go play the game for yourself if you haven't already. But that's all I have for this video, so thank you for watching and have a good day, or there will be consequences, or something like that. It's a Forsaken Frontiers reference. If you haven't played it or heard that line, I don't know what you're doing here, but thank you anyway. Go play the game.
Turn on the power! Turn on the power! Turn on the power! Yes! You stopped the butcher from killing me. Oh my god, that was so sick. The butcher's trapped from us. That was sick, Gen Mommy.
Just doing my job, you know how it is.
Kiss ass.
Gen Mommy, can you please turn off the power over?
Wait, Gen Mommy, please! Wait, Gen Mommy, please! Gen Mommy, no! Badass, I don't know if you can hit that button. Turn on the power!
I'm having trouble getting the power back on. Hold on, I gotta work on this gen.
Gen Mommy busy right now.
Log 17! Gen Mommy busy right now. Go back to watching Naruto, kid.
Log 17-3, this hole is looking appealing. Log 17-7, she has been played! Depart without some hose!
He's doing it
Uh-oh.
right.
No way.
Shit.
Somebody can know.